Good morning. I hope you're doing great. Greetings again. Welcome back in another podcast show. In this podcast, we will do a little bit of chit chat about the most common questions that I get asked every single day, every single week, and every single month. One of the questions that I frequently get asked is, what do you think I will do with learning English in future? That's a very straightforward kind of a question, but the answer to that question is highly dependable on what your vision is and where you want to see yourself in 5 years and 10 years. That is why I ask my followers to think about where they want to see themselves in the upcoming years, 5 to 10 years. If you want to see yourself as an English professor, if you want to see yourself as a pilot, if you want to see yourself as an engineer, if you want to see yourself as a doctor, a physician, a chemist, all walks of life are highly dependable on learning languages. Learning languages is going to help you publish your papers, reach out to people, talk to audience in English, understand other people's cultures, and also it helps you at the terminal, in the airport, when you travel to a country that does not speak your mother tongue or your language. So learning languages is really important and significant to reshape you. Imagine you create another personality, another person, another soul, within your spirit, within your personality. This is what English is. I tell my learners and I tell my students and I tell my fellow friends that learning another language is creating and carving another personality. So if you're shy in your first language, you may try your second language. You will find it easier to reach out to people and talk to people, especially if they share the same language that you're speaking. Learning English is not a matter of collecting few vocabulary. Learning English is understanding culture and tradition and people's behavior in other nations and what they do. That is going to put you closer. That is going to put you closer to other people and understand them and communicate with them. Imagine you want to tell people about a discovery that you made or about a technological device. Or if you feel that you have good rhetorics and you want to reach out to people to teach them language presentations and public speaking, or you want to be the next TEDx man. All of that is highly dependable on your communicative skills of speaking and writing. It doesn't matter actually your background or where you're coming from, even though that can be an asset to some people, especially if they're coming from poor family that doesn't have that kind of support that you expect when you're growing up. That learning English is really important, and I can assure you that it was a crucial element to the transformation that I had over the past few years. I learned English on the floor of my house in a farm. So I am originally coming from a farmer's family. I grew up in a farm south of Baghdad, and I had a little library at home that was under my disposal. It was my dad's library, and what fascinated me is the list of vocabulary at the index, in the index of every book. So I had to scissor them and use them as small slips of papers and insert them in my pocket and tried to read them. So I started this, and gradually I started learning how to read newspapers and magazines. So my dad used to bring magazines, kids magazines and short stories and journals and newspapers that were circulated in my area to tell people about the news and the X-regime time. And then shifting to post 2003, where all of that kind of chaos that happened, there was an influx of books of variety of kinds, and I was insatiable trying to read as many of them. I was curious to understand how people speak English and how they improve English and how they improve their accent. Even though now I don't believe that accent matters that much, but I really think that whatever kind of accessible sources that you have at your disposal. Now we are really lucky at this time. You can access hundreds of millions of sources online and learn from them. And there is nothing that stops you from learning language except for your procrastination of learning a language. So I want you to promise yourself today that you'll start reading something every month and you'll stick to it and try to gradually and incrementally improve and increase the amount of reading that you do. I do that. I'm blamed of being lazy reader, but I try to read. I have a stack of books behind the camera. I have a stack of books there, a stack of books there, and I'm trying as much as possible putting myself in the mood of reading. So reading is really essential. It's going to be a catalyst to improve your personality and your character and your way of communication and approaching people. Understanding how we read will help you understand how to communicate with people and how to reach out to people, especially at the decision-making position, and also reaching out to facilities and polishing your CV and getting scholarships or grants or fellowships and traveling abroad. And that's going to facilitate so much of your life once you start reading. Remember in my last journey in Italy, I didn't speak Italian, but there's some shared commonalities in terms of language origin and the origin of certain words in Italian. So I started to pick up. Once I landed in the airport, I started communicating in basic Italian, saying buongiorno and this basic kind of greetings to people, and trying to put myself under pressure, leaving that comfort zone behind and doing the kind of leap of faith jump, trying to challenge yourself in another language that is kind of like close or in the vicinity of English, to see if you can improve and talk and learn and discover culture and tradition. So that's what I want you to be. Be insatiably curious. مدرب اللغة وليد خالد. ربي يحفظكم. See you on another podcast.